afternoon and welcome to Southeast News on Signature TV. Glad you're here with us. I am Vari Kumo Ado. The headlines. Grand finale of the annual Community Health Service ends in Enugu. Security personnel deployed to schools in Abia State. 2 killed in an attack in Imo State. Stay with us. The member representing Enugu North and Enugu South Federal Constituency in the House of Representatives, Chimaobi Atu, is calling for increased funding for the country's health sector. Atu made the call during the grand finale of a community health service held by the nursing students of University of Nigeria, Enugu campus. Signature TV correspondent Chinemeremi Kebunan was at the event.
It was a carnival-like occasion as the 400-level students of the University of Nigeria, Enugu campus, brought their community health service outreach to a successful end. The event was witnessed by a number of notable dignitaries and royal fathers who came to support the student nurses. Okudili Ekwe, who stood in for the member representing Enugu North and South Federal Constituency, Chimaobi Atu, at the Green Chamber, assured the students and other medical practitioners that the issue of brain drain will be tackled head-on. This, he said, will be done through the provision of funds for needed health infrastructure and welfare of healthcare personnel.
We all agree he is the one representing Enugu State in the appropriation committee at the National Assembly, and he has argued more than once that the health sector in this country is underfunded and that there is need to increase funding for the health sector. And even the medical facilities that are available in the country, they are overstretched and in most cases they are not available. And that will explain why he is sponsoring a bill that is already at the 3rd stage of reading. A bid to establish Federal Medical Center in Ugwaji, Opunano.
The Dean, Faculty of Health Science and Technology, Professor Charles Ezema, and some other senior lecturers shared their thoughts on the annual event.
I feel excited to be a part of it because it's been organized by members of my faculty, which was initiated by Professor Mrs. Ehiemere, who is now retired. But my joy is that the members of the faculty, they've continued the program, the outreach program, which has impacted greatly on the public, the masses. So I appreciate their efforts and I'm happy.
The outing has been marvelous. I want to give an example with what I witnessed at New Haven when one of them used Igbo language to describe the pathophysiology of malaria. I was wowed.
Professor Ijoma Ehiemere, who initiated the community health service some 27 years ago, narrated how the program came about.
For your student program, I see the AIC through the Martin, Governor Brown, His Excellency, Sullivan ihe a na-achọ ọ bịa weta iwe afọ ojuju ihe a na-eme banyere anyị aka bụrụ anyị ụgbọ ọhụrụ ka anyị ga-eji na-agagharị.
The students organized different health talks, drama presentations, healthcare deliveries, and other displays to promote wellness through personal and environmental hygiene.
What I was doing was, we call it scaling and polishing. Okay, so it just has to do with removal of some hard deposits on the teeth surface. Okay, so you just use some instruments, either manual or ultrasonic, to remove those deposits. We call it calculus and plaques, to remove it on the tooth surface. Basically, that's what we are doing. So when you're done, you clean.
Having been here from the first day of this health week till the last day, this is the grand finale happening at Uwani. I must say that I'm so happy to have witnessed this event. It's a life-changing one. I've been battling with choosing my specialty, but after this, I am everly going to public health nursing.
The event ended with jubilation and dances from students of Uwani Health Center Group and other groups. Chinemerem Ikebunam, Signature TV News.
The indigents of Isialamban, or local government area of Imo State, has been thrown into mourning as gunmen killed 2 vigilante members and set cars parked at the council headquarters ablaze. An eyewitness told Signature TV correspondent that the gunmen stormed the secretariat around 8:30 p.m. on Tuesday night and shot sporadically, killing 2 vigilante members on duty, setting part of the council building on fire, while many others escaped with various injuries. Police Command spokesman Henry Okoye said that the command has deployed tactical teams to apprehend those responsible for the crime. Still on crime, the police command in Anambra State has confirmed the attack on Tuesday on Oba Police Divisional Headquarters and Oba Civic Center. According to the police, suspected armed men started shooting sporadically in an attempt to gain entrance to the police station and threw petrol bombs at a security facility, which set fire to some offices, including the Oba Civic Center. Police corporal was fatally wounded to pay the supreme price, while the fire was put out with the help of other police officers on duty and a joint security responding team. Commissioner of Police in the state, CP Naya Obonoitam, while condemning the act, described the invasion of security facilities and hostility towards security agents as an attack on the soul of the nation, and vows to bring those behind the incident to book. Still in Anambra, the Sterling Oil Exploration and Engineering Petroleum Company, SIPCO, an oil exploration company based in Anambra, has lamented negative effects of insecurity on its activities, especially crude oil exploration. Mr. Austin Brown, General Manager, Community Relations and Security of SIPCO, represented the company on Tuesday in Anambra State House of Assembly, said the insecurity and environmental challenges in the Obaru area have caused significant decline in its production volumes and in the loss of lives of some members of its staff. Brown further said that about 11 illegal refineries have been discovered in Obaru, with over 25 broken points along the pipelines where oil thieves steal crude oil. He also recounted that on June 11, gunmen attacked their workers, killed 3 soldiers, and abducted 9 members of staff who were later rescued in Ihiala. Brown said the company carried out environmental impact assessment, EIA, and was executing some projects under its corporate social responsibility, CSR. Mr. Chidi Bedeme, Chairman, House Committee on Petroleum, said SIPCO was not complying with provisions of Local Contact Act as members of the host communities working in the company. Dr. Somton Daisy, Speaker of the Assembly, who hails from one of the host communities, said SIPCO should provide documentary evidence showing that the 3% of the annual budget has been paid for 2022, 2023, 2024, and projects executed so far in the next hearing, which comes up on November 17, 2024. September 16, 2024 is fast approaching for Abia State Public Schools to resume a new academic session. And the state government has promised to deploy security personnel to guard the institutions and maintain adequate security. Commissioner for Information, Prince Oke Kanu, made this known yesterday at a media briefing in Umuahia after the weekly meeting of the State Executive Council. Alex Otti administration had said that it inherited many anomalies in school, including destruction and stealing of school property, land encroachment, and use of school premises for criminal activities by delinquent youths. Kanu said the government was determined to put an end to all the unwholesome activities in Abia schools, hence the decision to checkmate the menace with security personnel. Posting security personnel is aimed at securing the life and property of both the students, teachers, and the property of the schools involved. He gave assurance that the reformation of the school system is on course, saying that government has concluded plans to train 2,000 master trainers for teachers in the state. According to him, 200 teachers have already passed through the training program, while the remaining 1,800 will soon undergo the same training. He said the Abia State Basic Education Board, ASUBEB, has screened, interviewed, and shortlisted 40 teachers for training under the Abia State School Enhancement Team Program, a quality assurance initiative for monitoring performance in the school system. Prince Kanu further stated the government was also keeping its promise to motivate teachers to higher productivity, adding that a total of 5,746 teachers at the basic school level have been earmarked for promotion. The chairman of ASUBEB, Lady Lydia Onuaha, said the government properly selected the teachers that will benefit from the training programs organized at 5 centers across the 17 Abia local government areas. She further threw more light on the Abia State School Enhancement Team, saying that it will be the eye of the government in the schools to ensure adequate compliance to the plans of government in the schools. That's the news. When we come back, we'll go to our interview session. Stay with us. Yesterday was a very, very mournful day for people in Oba when some gunmen attacked a police post, set fire on it, and also the civic center in Oba. And unfortunately, a police officer lost his life. We're going live to Oba, where OJ Igwe is there, who would tell us more about that event. OJ.
Yes.
Good afternoon and welcome to Southeast News.
Good afternoon, listeners.
Yesterday was a sad day in Oba. Can you take us through the events that happened yesterday?
Yeah, yesterday was a quite sad day. At about 2:55 a.m. in the morning of yesterday, we all woke up to some serious noise of gunshots. In fact, most of us thought it was, we had so much to think about. We didn't know it was an actual war that was happening, because it wasn't just it was heavy. It was really heavy, and we didn't know where it was coming from at first, but later at about 3:30 something, about 3:40 in the morning, it subsided. It stopped actually, and about 4 o'clock it began again. So, but now when I wasn't too far from where it happened, so we rushed to the scene later when it became down and to know what happened. That was when we got to know it was just there. We got there and we saw that the police station was on fire and that they killed one person. Everything in the police station, inside of the gates of the police station, everything burned down. And thank God it didn't spill over to the plaza that was next to it. And the plaza, the civic center is just opposite. It's just behind the filling station that's directly opposite the police station. So maybe the guys wanted to make a statement there, and they just came in there, set that place on fire. Probably would have been a rocket launcher that they used. I'm not a professional, though, but from a hole that something pierced through the wall, you would know it was a serious thing, because while the shooting was happening in the night, you could hear serious gunshots. You could hear those ones that would go boom, very heavy mortar fires happening. Exactly what happened.
Sorry, it must have been very traumatic for people who were very close neighbors to the police station and the civic center. But it also sounded there was a bit of good news. I don't know if that appropriately describes it, because you said there's a filling station very close to the civic center and it is safe. Because you can imagine a situation if a filling station was on fire.
Yeah, we are actually very afraid when we knew, when things like this happen, and when you keep listening, you kind of know the direction it was coming from. The citizen was just directly, he shared the fence with the civic center, and it's directly opposite the police station. But thank God nothing happened there. Thank God it didn't affect the police station. So it's kind of a good news for us there, and people around. Actually, when the soldiers came, there were people that came in the morning about 4 a.m. That was when security forces came, and by then everything had died down. But they came shooting sporadically, and then there are people out there. When those guys had gone, there are people out there trying to see what happened, what we could salvage and everything. But when these guys came from a little distance, apart from like 300 or 500 meters away, they started shooting. We all took to our heels and ran away. It wasn't really funny. It wasn't really funny at all. But thank God it all went the way it went. We are very sorry for the police guy that lost his life. It wasn't funny at all.
But has such an incident happened in the Oba area before?
Such thing, it happened some time ago. There's another police station in Oba. A couple of years back, I can't be too precise about them. It happened, they came in there and burnt it down, and this is the second time they're attacking the police station in Oba, to the best of my knowledge.
Now, I know that just a few days back, I was talking with Ndu Okpaleze of Signature TV, that's in Anambra, and because of the forthcoming local government election, he was telling me about how security has been beefed up in many areas in Anambra State, including the hinterlands. So I am surprised this is happening, because if security has been beefed up in many areas, including the hinterlands, why would gunmen gain access to a police station and even the police environment? How come? And I also do know that many of the communities have vigilantes. So we need to be asking, how secured are we?
But when it comes to things like this, you really see that the security, or whatever they say is security, around there is no security at all. While I'm very happy to God that the security, the vigilante man in front of, because really the vigilante guys are always moving around. You see them when they move around the station, around almost in front of that police zone. They come around there on that plaza that shares the fence with the police zone. At times you see them there. At times they're always driving around. There's heavy security everywhere. But my brother, this one that happened, no was inside, and I'm very happy, because those guys, they have this shaka pump actions. These guys didn't come with pump action. This guy came ready. They came, you would have heard, they were playing songs, they were playing the tap music with gunshots. You know, with ammunition, it was really that heavy. So thank God they weren't there. If these vigilante guys were there, it would have been a different case. They would have murdered a whole lot of them. But the security beef up in the state, we're looking at it. This is just one typical example how beefed up, how secure we are here. Anambra is really not that secure. These guys, they attack at will when they want to attack, and they prepare themselves. From the little information I got from this incident that happened, they came with five different vehicles. They came with 5 different vehicles, and they moved up. It was after they moved up that the security, that the army came, like 20 minutes later. That was when the army came. Now, I think they moved out because they knew army was coming. So I'm thinking that there's this snitch somewhere that's always going around that's telling them things. There's some other person. There are people there that's giving out the secrets, because they wouldn't just move out and that comes in about 20 minutes after they had gone. Why wouldn't they come when they were happening? It was dead in the night. It was 2 a.m., 2:30 a.m., 3 a.m. in the morning. So everybody, people from very far from Ojoto, came in the morning because they heard the sound. They came from Ojoto, which is far, very far, not too far though. They came from there to see what happened. You know, so the soldiers, wherever they are, would have heard that gunshot. That's how it is, my brother.
O.J. Igwe, thank you. But before you go, what is the community of our community going to do to ensure that residents and indigents are safe and secure?
You have to start with we, the people in the society. When you notice a strange movement, the problem is that you don't even trust nobody to tell anybody, I noticed somebody's movement that is strange, because you don't know whom you are talking to. You know, that is the number one thing that should happen. If you notice strange movements, look for somebody, watch what that person or persons are doing, and report to a higher authority. That's where I think it will help. Then this thing about our youth are not helping issues, because our youth are all over the place. They are doing all manner of things, living all manner of life how they want to live their life, doing things that you wouldn't even know who they are. So if you start from our parents talking to the youth, talking to their parents, if the parents talking to the youth, if the youth will hear, most of them, they have outgrown their parents, the parents can't tell them what to do. But that kind of life is what has gotten us to this stage, the money thing and everything. So I think we should start by, in our communities, we all know ourselves within the community. The community around myself, like 200 meters around where I'm staying, I think I know almost everybody there. They know me. I think that's how it should be. If a strange person enters, one should know that a strange person entered. And this person wasn't, he was like, there was something not funny. There was something quite funny about the person. I think it will go a long way to help us here.
Yes, I think you're on the right track. But is the community not going to come as one to begin to really take action to find out who is where. And because you mentioned one word that struck me, you said probably there's a snitch somewhere. And a snitch can never be an outsider because an outsider would easily be noticed. So how can the community stand up for itself, so to speak?
Yes, my thinking is, like I said, we all know ourselves. There are some people you see, and the kind of money they make in a very short period of time, the kind of life they start living. This person is hungry today. Once something happens around, and 2-3 weeks after that event happens, that thing because he doesn't have a shop anywhere. People should ask questions. How is this guy surviving? How is he making this money? How has he gotten to this stage of buying brand new cars or doing this or doing castings? It happens. There are so many of them around here. You see boys today, they are hungry, they are begging you for a bottle of beer. The next 2 weeks, there's money everywhere. You can't tell where this money comes from. So we should start asking questions. How did this person get to this stage? How did this person get to how? Once you start putting those questions, asking those questions, and getting the authority to ask those questions, let's see what we are doing to delve into such wealth overnight. I think it will be a long way in stopping this thing. Because if it is snitch and there's anything involved, he would have been paid to snitch on the place. So he would have been paid. So where they don't pay, I don't know. I'm not one. I don't know if they are paid or not. But I'm thinking that for anybody to come out and do that, he would have been paid to come in to do that. So if we start looking into how people make their wealth, how does your
Hello?
Yes. If people should start asking questions about how they make their wealth, I think it will be a long way to help us control these things.
All right, I just have to let you go now. Thank you very much for coming on to Southeast News. OJ Igwe, it's been a pleasure. And your contribution was quite invaluable. Thank you very, very much. We're taking a short break now. Stay with us. Glad you're still with us. Let's go to Signature TV Bureau Chief in Anambra, Ndu Okpalaeze. Ndu, good afternoon. Hello, Ndu.
Hello.
Good afternoon. Now,
Yeah, good afternoon.
you've heard the account of you have heard the account of OJ Igwe.
Yes.
What is the true situation? Remember the last time we spoke, You told me of how you find security personnel almost at every nook and cranny of Anambra State. So what is happening? Last week, we had an attack at Obaru local government area. This week, it's happening at Oba. So what is really happening in Anambra?
Yes, the true situation is exactly what I told you. Some of the communities are beginning to beef up their security, especially the different services. But then again, I still told you, remember I told you that we have places that we know as the trouble spots up by in Idemili South local area, happen to be one of them, just like Obaru. So I was very happy when the resource person, OJ Igwe, was talking about the youths. There has been restiveness in our community, especially amongst the youths. They have, I think, splinter groups of youth organizations. And ever since the death of their late traditional ruler, Igwe PCS, the youths have just kind of risen up, and there's this kind of land grabbing and all manner of crimes coming up. I am not saying that it's directly linked to that, but then it's just to show you that Oba is a hot spot with regards to what is happening. And if you look at the police accounts, or even the viral video that we have, you discover that people that were detained overnight in the police cells, they were all released. And you begin to add one and two together. You may begin to see that these people didn't come from the moon. I mean, the attackers, they may not have come from the moon. So the true situation is that most of these hotspots, we still need to give up security all the more. This time around, these are people that came with bombs. It's not something that police with baton can battle. So this time around, I think the police and the government of the state should begin to do something extraordinary in these areas of trouble spots. Maybe making sure that combined team of army, police, navy, and other security personnel are stationed permanently in some of those areas. And then they should also extend their intelligence network with regards to knowing when things are maybe will happen. That's the situation. That's the way it is for now.
Thank you. As we count down to the Anambra elections, it's becoming difficult because I was thinking that with the security architecture rigid to put more people on the road to show that they are prepared, we'll begin to move gradually towards a peaceful elections. But it doesn't seem to be that straightforward.
Yes, everybody's worried. I am also worried because I mean, for those who are preparing for the elections, I'm beginning to see buses painted in party colors and, people getting up towards the election that is coming on 28th of this month. But then again, security is very key to whatever thing you want to do in terms of election and all things of that nature. So it boils down to calling on the government of the state, the federal, and even the local government areas and the communities to beef up security with regards to making sure that places are cool and calm for those who will troop out to participate in the electoral process. So they have to. When I was talking with the police public relations officer this afternoon, SP Tochukwu Ikenga, he told me they have not been able to make arrests with regards to what happened at Oba. But they are sure that they were on top of the situation, that they are trying to sniff out and put one and one together to make sure, see whether they can get any clue with regards to what happened. Because if you arrest some of these people and allow the laws to take its full course, maybe it could serve as a deterrent to others who want to engage in such criminal activities. Everybody is worried. I remember there was a time it was this bad that public institutions were being attacked in Anambra State. But this time around, it just started again with this Obaro incidents. So we will not know where it will end, except that everybody should rise up with regards to security measures.
Thank you very much, Ndu Okpalaeze, for coming up and giving us more in-depth concerning the current situation in terms of security in Anambra.
Thank you.
It's been a pleasure having you on. Ndu Okpalaeze is our bureau chief in Anambra for Signature TV. I'm sure we'll talk about the other issues tomorrow when we come on Southeast News. For now, I say thank you for joining us.
You're welcome.
We'll take a short break, and when we are back, I'll keep you in suspense. Wait for it. Glad to know you're still there. I told you we were taking a short break, and when I come back, you'll have something. Well, let me not go into long stories. I have with me in the studio Chichi Obu. Chichi Obu, good afternoon.
Good afternoon, sir.
Tell me a little about you.
Thank you, sir. I'm Antonia Chinenyanwa Obu, the State President, National Council for Women's Society, Enugu State, Nigeria. I also doubled as a commissioner in Enugu State Independent Electoral Commission, Enugu State.
You're welcome.
Thank you, sir.
Now, the National Society for...
National Council.
National Council for Women's Societies is one group that has always looked out, not just for women, yes, but also for children, exactly, and to see the well-being of a society and how it positively impacts on each and every one of us. The reason why we still have hunger, the reason why we still have poverty, the reason why we still talk about malnourishment in children, in families, is one reason why I think you are here. Why did I say that? Because there's no way we can talk about the National Council for Women's Societies without knowing what contributions they can do in terms of these issues I raised. Now, if you look at these issues I raised, it is challenging for the average Nigerian, which makes many people use those as an excuse, that if the environment is challenging, it makes them do things they're not supposed to do. And then you begin to hear about violence from one gender to the other. So in this conversation, my simple first question is, how can the National Council for Women's Societies intervene to turn the table?
Thank you, moderator. The National Council...
Barry Kumo is my name.
Okay, thank you, Barry Kumo. Thank you. The National Council for Women's Society Nigeria is an organization found in 1958, and it was registered in 1965. And this council have been on the fronts campaigning for the well-being of our people. When we talk about our gender and our council, we talk about the father, the mother, and children, which makes up a family. Now, the National Council for Women's Society, just recently last month, we are in Kefi, and we had a 36 presidents plus FCT and the National Acting President of the National Council for Women's Society in collaboration with Federal Ministry of Health on a seminar and a workshop about zero water, exclusive breastfeeding for our children. Now, we didn't stop there. When we talk about gender-based violence, the National Council for Women's Society that in the front campaigning about against violence of any gender. And in our gender, we don't talk about the female, we talk about our girls and boys. Some men are abused, women are abused, young boys and girls they're also abused. It's not only for the female gender alone. But an issue to tackle this is that all hands must be on deck. It must not be only for the gender. Like the August meeting we did, we talk about sensitizing our boys so that they will know that I am a boy. It's not other 100%. And being a girl child, you are not being underrated because you're a girl child. Both are wonderfully and faithfully made by God. So in all and all, you have to see yourself as a human being, as a good handwork of God, equally your neighbor.
So how do we tackle this problem? How do we, it's good, you're letting the boys and girls as they grow up understand their role and their position in the society.
Exactly.
But how do we get them to understand that there will be this meeting point and that violence is not the answer?
Yeah, we are still on it and we are still sensitizing to promote the girl child education and boy child education. I think is a number one on the list, because what makes you to know your rights? Ignorance is never excuse to the law. You should know where your right stops and when the next person around you or besides you, its own starts. That it must not be win-win all the race at all times. There must be a sense of belonging. And we also let them know that whoever that goes to equity must come with a clean hands. In other words, you treat any neighbor, next door neighbor, or anybody around you the way you wish to be treated by anybody. By doing so, and for you to understand as a growing child, as your gender in your own area of life, if you have this in mind, I think the misogyny will be dimmed down. Because most times it springs up from misogyny. I'm a boy. I'm a girl. I'm a man. You're my wife. I paid your dowry. I knew you. I own you. But because we are all made by God, we have our rights. You should know when you should not cross your boundary. And this is a campaign. And if a child doesn't have the primary or foundation education about all these things, he or she may be acting on ignorance. You know, whatever your mind tells you, you go ahead and do it, without knowing that there's a way and a level where your right stops and the next person continues. So we are not sleeping. We're on the floor. We are moving. And I believe with all of us, we'll get together. We'll get to it.
You did say that men also get abused.
Yeah.
And I want to look at that scenario, not just the men being abused. Mm-hmm. Children that come from an abused home or an abused family, there is a tendency for them to think that that is a normal way of life. Mm-hmm. So how can your organization help these children to understand that what they are used to is an abnormality, and how to help them overcome such trauma and begin to live a life that is actually normal?
Thank you. Coming to the family, abused family, is a challenge, because those girls or those children that are being raised from such family thinks it's a normal thing, which is not. But through the sensitization, the workshops and seminars of my group, National Council for Women's Society, with some schools, Federal Ministry of Education, Federal Ministry of Health, and other NGOs who are members of the council, we go a long way to do some sensitizations, so many sensitizations, I tell you that. But our challenge is the economic challenge in this country, Nigeria, because last week we were in Zamfara. We see the rights of the children and how they are being brought up. The background is the problem, and that's why we keep on saying education, 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 because by the time you move from your background, go to the school, be in a class, associate with other people, listen to the lectures and classes, you will now come back home and you tell yourself vividly, this is not right. I have to move from here to there in order to get it right.
So, but education also has its limits, because yesterday I was brought down to earth when I was told about a school that is owned by a church, and in that school a teacher was abusing a student. So giving education is great, but what other things can be done to ensure that these children grow up right? Because if you look at the children right now, you will discover that social media is taking them up.
Yeah.
So how would you use the platforms that you'll find the children on to make them understand the right paths to follow?
Now we'll talk about empowerment. Empowering those children. Yes, we talk about education, but then empowerment contributes. Because when you tell a child, don't collect sweets from this auntie or this uncle, but during lunch, for the whole term, that child has no lunch. He needs or her lunch box, and the child is hungry. Even if you don't have a water bottle for water, and somebody has a water bottle, taking pure water, you can say, drink and give me back. That means that child that gives you has about 30–40% to control that child. That's why we keep talking about empowerment. Empowering the parents and the children. That's why we talk about handwork, learning skills, about skills. Now, most of the skills are 2 weeks. Most of them are 1 month, 3 months, 6 months. And with my group, we also considering after the seminars of empowerment program, our empowering the people is our paramount, because you can't just give lectures, teach them and leave them and go. They'll go back starting from where they stopped, which doesn't make a sense of what we are talking about. So when we talk about empowerment, tailoring, hair salon, making of nails, makeups, pedicures and manicures, then you empower them with some kits, startup kits, that we call it a startup kits. And those ones who has this mindset to be a good result to what they have learned to pick up from them. You have some people learning of liquid soaps and many detergents. In my office, they are the one doing it. I have one of my clients during the COVID-19, he has to supply all the hand sanitizers. And it's one of our products. We did that about 2014, and she's still in the business. She does hand sanitizer, hypo, toilet wash, perfume, body sprays, Lauren, and all that and all that and all that. I can attest to you, I'm proud of that woman. We are using her in most of our skills in Enugu. Like last 3 years, we are in my community. During August meeting, we try to catch them young. And some of the boys, we train them how to do a salon, barbing salons. We don't want to be giving them motorcycles or buses again, or some will go back when they have 1 or 2 problems, they'll just go and park it at the mechanics. Yes, but these skills helps a lot. Some are even in their houses doing some embroiderings and tie and dye. For 6 years ago, we took them to Abuja when they learned how to do the tie and dyes, and most of them are now having a wonderful batiks of most of these clothes. And when they started, they have to sell about 3,000, but last week the material is now 7,000 in the market, and it doesn't wash. So empowerment is very, very important, very, very important for all of us.
Thank you very much. Lady Antonia Ogbu.
Thank you, sir.
President, Nigerian National Council for Women's Societies, Enugu State. Thank you for coming on. I wish we had more time, but one of these days we'll have more time, certainly.
No problem.
Thank you for coming on to the program. We'll continue to have this conversation because gender-based violence is not going away until something positive and impactful is done.
Exactly.
Thank you again.
Thank you, sir.
And I need to say thank you for staying with us on Southeast News. We'll be back tomorrow. By God's grace, definitely. Till then, I am Barry Kumo Ado. Thank you for being with us.